Hello everyone, welcome back to the second session of this costing and MCQ videos. So in the first session, we have already completed 60 questions of the choose. Now moving on to the 61st question. So take your paper number 10 PDF, that is paper number 10 MCQ portal PDF. Moving on to question number 61. Which of the following is not a reason to use the concept of learning curve? So the question is, which of the following is not a reason to use the concept of learning curve? For that, first you should know what is the concept of learning curve. The concept of learning curve is nothing but, see, simple. I'll tell you in one line. What is learning curve? Learning curve is an experience curve, which means the more you perform the same task, the better you get at it. Simple. Well, learning curve is nothing but learning a particular work. That is, how well you get at performing a particular work by keep repeating the same work. So that is called learning curve. The concept of learning curve is how much better you get at a particular task by performing it again and again. So that is the concept of learning curve. So which of the following is not a reason to use the concept of learning curve? See, in order to find the labor efficiency, the concept of learning curve can be used, because labor efficiency is nothing but how well a labor is efficient. That is, how efficient is a particular labor. To evaluate that, the concept of learning curve is the concept of learning curve can be used. Next, option number B, introducing new technology. See, when you are introducing a new technology in sense new method of producing a product or new technology, you can view technology as both technical and non-technical. That is, if suppose your work is in IT, that is information technology, then the new technology is nothing but new software. Whereas the introduction of new technology for the non-technical, in sense for the laborers who perform physical tasks, for them introducing of new technology is nothing but switching to other way of producing the products. That is, switching to alternate way of producing the products. So when you are switching to alternate ways, your concept of learning curve cannot be used, because the laborers are being given a particular task to perform it in a different way. So the introducing a new technology is the right answer. That is, introducing a new technology is not a reason to use the concept of learning curve. Next is value chain effect. Value chain effect can be evaluated using learning curve, and standardization, specialization, method improvement. All these are different reasons to use the concept of learning curve. So the right answer is option number B, that is introducing of new technology. So next, question number 62. Learning curve theory is not applicable. See, learning curve means what? Learning curve means experience curve. That is, how well a particular employee, either a labor or a particular product, that is raw material or machine, all these different units, that is, all these different cost centers are performing. That is called learning curve. That is how well they perform a particular task when they keep repeating the same task. So here direct labor is the learning curve theory is applicable, because he keeps performing the same job again and again. Then material also, by using a specific raw material, your learning curve can be used. Then spoilage and detective work, it is directly relatable to mission. So for all these three, learning curve theory is applicable. Whereas for overhead, learning curve theory is not applicable, because learning curve basically compares the task performed against the time. See, for direct labor, if he is performing, producing some 1,000 units, then against his time, his production of 1,000 units will be compared in order to verify with this learning curve theory. That is, in order to apply this learning curve theory, what happens is learning curve basically compares the work performed against the time. So against the direct labor also we can compare against the time. Material also you can compare against the time. Spoilage and detective works also we can compare against the time. That is, we can compare the machine hours worked against the time. But for overhead is nothing but the cost which has been incurred. That is, which cannot be separately given for a particular product. What is meant by overhead? The total cost incurred by the particular company or a firm for production of goods. Whereas you can't assign that particular cost to a particular product. In total only you can assign it as overhead. So overhead is the right answer for learning curve theory, not applicable. So question number 62, right answer is option D, overhead. Next, question number 63. Decision making concerns with, see what is meant by decision making? Decision making is nothing but marginal costing, which is the main objective of management accounting. So decision making is the main objective of management accounting. Management accounting tasks are performed only for decision making. That is why a particular company is using this management accounting in order to make effective decisions. So decision making is concerned with past and future both, none of the above. See, always decisions cannot be made for past. Decisions can be made only for the future. So in the past, whatever has happened. No decision taken in the future for the past is worth it. So decision making concerns with only future. That is, for the future, now you can take decisions. Whereas for the past, now taking decisions is not worth it. So decision making concerns always with future. So for the question number 63, right answer is option B. That is future. Next is question number 64. A large margin of safety indicates, what is meant by margin of safety? Margin of safety is the sales, a part of sales. Margin of safety is a part of sales which gives you profit. See, till BEP, there is no profit, no loss. So whatever the profit which has been received, whatever the contribution which has been received from the BEP sales will be equal to fixed cost. So till BEP point, whatever the profit is there, whatever the contribution is there, will be exactly equal to fixed cost. That is recovery of fixed cost. So at BEP point, there will be no profit, no loss. Anything beyond BEP sales, that is called margin of safety sales. So all the contribution received from the margin of safety is profit. So a large margin of safety indicates overcapitalization? No. The soundness of business. Normally, a large margin of safety is going to give you large amount of profit. So where you are getting large amount of profit? Only when there is soundness of business. Soundness of business is nothing but your business is doing really well. So that is called soundness of business. So right option is option number B. The soundness of business. Next, 65. Revision of budget is, see, revision of budget. But what is budget? Budget is predetermined. That is before beginning of the particular time period, budget will be prepared. So for 2021, budget will be prepared before December 2020. So revision of budget means what? After planning out budget, after preparing the budget, if there is any effect, if there is any change in economic conditions, if there is any change in organizations, employee, whatever the reason behind it, there should be revision of budget. So budget should be always revised according to the circumstances. So but revision of budget is necessary. So right answer is option number C. 65. Revision of budget is necessary. So moving on to the next question, 66. Which of the following operating measures would a manager would like to see decreasing over a time? See, what is meant by operating measures? Operating measures is nothing but for producing a particular product, different measures are taken. That is, if producing a product or a service is my operating work, that is, my operating business is producing a product, then that for producing that product, what are all the different operating measures I am taking? Controlling the cost, increasing the sales, then increasing the profit, then decreasing the whatever the cost incurred for producing that product, or whatever the cost incurred for selling that product in the market. So what are the different costs which has been incurred should be either decreased or increased in order to increase the sales. So all these measures are called operating measures. So what I have asked in the question is, which of the following operating measures would a manager would like to see decreasing over a time? That is, a particular operating measure which manager would like to see decreasing over a time, which means that operating measure which has been taken should be comparatively, should keep decreasing. That is, the cost incurred or the efforts which has been put for a particular operating measure should continuously decrease over a period of time. That is, your benefit should increase or either your cost should decrease. So option number A they have given is merchandise inventory turnover. So what is meant by this merchandise inventory turnover? Basically, what is inventory turnover? In a particular here how many times your inventory has been sold. Suppose your closing stock is 50,000 and your total cost of sales, that is total goods sold, is 1 lakh. Then 2 times is your inventory turnover. As much as your inventory turnover is going up, that is beneficial to the company. But here they are decreasing over time. But only when inventory turnover is increasing, then it is more profitable, or then it is the business is so much sound. That is, when inventory turnover is increasing, the business is sounded. Whereas when inventory turnover is falling down or decreasing, then the business is not doing well. So option A is not correct. Next, option B, total quality cost. See, what they are asking, operating measures should decrease over time. Total quality cost, the cost which has been spent in order to check the quality of the product. So the total quality cost spent over a period of time should be decreased, which will have a good effect on the profits of the business. Then it is the right answer. Simple. Option B is total quality cost, man. Suppose we are producing mobile phones. We as a company, we both joined together and started a company. We are producing mobile phones. So for producing mobile phones, in the beginning, what we will do in order to give quality for the particular mobile phone, we'll spend so much on quality cost. Then as time passes by, the cost spent for checking of quality, the total quality cost should be decreased so that the profit can be increased. So as the time passes by, there should be decrease in total quality cost. So option B is the right answer. Then just take option C, percentage of on-time deliveries. The percentage of on-time deliveries should be increased over a period of time. If it is decreasing, then business is not doing well. Then finished goods inventory turnover. As I told earlier, inventory turnover should keep increasing. If it is decreasing, then business is not doing well. So here, the only cost or only operating measure which should decrease over a period of time is total quality cost. So option B is the right answer. Next, moving on to question number 67. Another name for learning curve. As I told earlier when we are discussing question number 61 and 62, learning curve is nothing but experience curve. See, the more you perform a particular task, the better you get at it, which means by experience only, you will get better at a particular job. So learning curve is nothing but an experience curve. So option D is the right answer. So moving on to question number 68. The well-known basic functions of management is, see, a management is set up by a particular organization in order to make decision making. So only for the main, not, you should not tell it is the only objective, but it is an important function. So it is a basic function of management, that is decision making. So motivating the employees, creating leaders, or communicating with the employees are all secondary functions. Whereas basic function is decision making. Next, 69, contribution margin is equal to. So by each option, you should just calculate whether you are getting contribution value. Sales minus fixed cost minus profit. What you will get? Sales minus variable cost is only contribution, or fixed cost plus profit is your contribution. You know what is your marginal costing table? From the top you should come. Either sales minus variable cost, you will get contribution. Sales minus variable cost, or sales minus marginal cost, you will get your contribution. Or if you come from the bottom, profit plus fixed cost, you will get contribution. So your sales minus fixed cost minus profit, you are not going to get contribution. So option A is not right. Option B, profit plus variable cost. If you add profit plus variable cost, you are getting contribution. No. Profit plus fixed cost is your contribution. So option B is also not right. Next, option C, fixed cost minus loss. See, when there is a profit, then fixed cost plus profit. When there is a loss, then fixed cost minus loss, you will get your contribution. So simple, contribution minus fixed cost is equal to your profit or loss. If suppose you have a loss, then loss, fixed cost minus loss, you will get your contribution. So option C is the right answer. Just remember this marginal costing statement. First is sales minus variable cost. Then you will get contribution minus fixed cost. From the contribution, if you reduce fixed cost, you will get your profit. So these five are the very important marginal statement. So this is the statement, marginal statement. If you see a particular question on marginal statement, just remember this 5 steps. Sales minus variable cost, you will get what is your contribution. Then from your contribution, if you deduct the fixed cost, you will get your profit or loss. So that is question number 69. So moving on to the question number 70. In a system whereby all activities are re-evaluated each time a budget is formulated and starts with assumption that requirement of funds does not exist, is called zero-based budgeting. See, I have explained the concept of zero-based budgeting earlier. So you know what is zero-based budgeting. The best example of zero-based budgeting is government department's budgeting. So you should always plan it as how much is your expenses, and those expenses should be justified. That is zero-based budgeting. So the best example for this activities where are re-evaluated each time a budget is formulated. That is, see, suppose your present year activities are different from the past year activities. So based on your present year activities, your budget will be re-evaluated, or based on your last 3 months activities, your budget can be re-evaluated. That is called zero-based budgeting. Next, question number 71. The management's time is saved by reporting only the deviations from the predetermined standards. It's called management by exception. So management by exception. Suppose previous year your reports, comparing your present year reports and previous year reports, or comparing your final reports, that is after completing the particular year, comparing your reports with the report standards which have been set in the beginning of the year, comparing the standards with the reports and finding wherever the deviations from the report standards which has been set in the report, and giving some reporting. That is called management by exception. Suppose, see, at the end of the year, actual cost is 20,000. At the beginning of the year, standard cost is only 15,000. So that for that 5,000, what is the deviation is nothing but 5,000 rupees. So reporting only for this deviation of 5,000 rupees is called management by exception. So that is 71, question number 71. Next, 72, marginal costing is also known as simple variable costing. So as we discussed earlier, marginal costing is nothing but variable costing. Marginal costing consists of all both the elements, that is all the prime cost plus variable overheads is nothing but marginal costing. So whatever is your variable cost is called marginal cost. So marginal costing is also known as variable costing. Next, question number 73. Another name for contribution is marginal income. See, marginal cost is nothing but variable cost. So from sales, if you take off variable cost, you are getting contribution, which is also called as from sales. If you take off marginal cost, you are going to get marginal income. So variable cost means marginal cost, and your contribution means marginal income. That is, from the sales, if you take off marginal cost, you are going to get marginal income. But in the marginal statement, how you will take it as? You will take it as sales minus variable cost, you will get contribution. On the other hand, sales minus marginal cost is marginal income. So another name for contribution is marginal income. That is question number 73. So moving on to question number 74. Management accounting. See, what is management accounting? It helps in analyzing the data. Then it also helps in requirements of the management, and also it helps in planning and strategy, planning the strategy. So all three options are correct. So for this management accounting, option D is the right answer. That is all the above. So what you should do is this basic concept, all this management accounting, what is cost accounting, what is learning curve, what is zero-based budgeting. So all these concepts which we discuss in this MCQ, you should go through it at least once before going to exam, so that you know what is learning curve, what is management accounting. If by chance if they ask in descriptive questions, so as they release the mock test papers, descriptive questions are going to be there, and you should type the answer. So they are not going to ask lengthy answers. They are going to ask only that questions which is going to be in definition. So it's better to know. Excuse me, 1 second. Sorry. See, suppose they ask a descriptive question. So what you should do is you should not answer it with lengthy words. Like, it should be brief. It should be short and crispy. So just be thorough with all those terms which are being used in this MCQs. Whenever you see a particular term, suppose I see management accounting here in 74th question. So just remember what is management accounting. So just go through what is management accounting, and if you're going through this all this direct costing, absorption costing, just go through what is that by just googling it, or just checking your institute book or any other material which you use, so that you can answer those descriptive questions easily. So with that, we have completed question number 74. Next, question number 75. XYZ Limited makes a special gadget for the car it manufactures. See, XYZ Limited is making a special gadget for the car it is manufacturing. So XYZ Limited is manufacturing the car and it is making a gadget, that is, it is producing itself a particular gadget. The machine for the gadget works to full capacity and incurs 15 lakhs and 40 lakhs respectively as variable cost and fixed cost. If all the gadgets were purchased from the outside supplier, the machine could be used to produce other items, which would earn total contribution of 25 lakhs. What is the maximum price that XYZ Limited should be willing to pay to the outside supplier for the gadget, assuming there is no changes in fixed cost? So this is very important point. Assuming there is no changes in the fixed cost. See, when there is no changes in the fixed cost, this 40 lakhs is going to be incurred irrespective of changes in the fixed cost. The changes in the method of producing gadget, that is, whether you are producing gadget or whether you are not purchasing the gadget from the outside supplier, this 40 lakhs is going to be incurred. So that is the cost. There is no, that is also called as indifferential cost. Okay, this 40 lakhs is going to be incurred irrespective of your buy or sell, make or buy decision. So they are asking us, how, suppose it is better to go for make or buy, or if you are going for buy option, then for how much you should buy it from the outside supplier, they are asking. So total variable cost which you are going to spend, if suppose you are producing it in the with the machinery which is there, that is, if you are going for make option, then how much you are going to spend? 15 lakhs on variable cost. And how much you are going to lose? If suppose you are making, you are going to spend extra 15 lakhs and purchase it, that is the making cost. Whereas if suppose you are going for buy option, if you are making it, you are going to lose this total contribution of 25 lakhs and you are going to spend 15 lakhs to produce that product. Whereas if you are going for buy option, the same capacity which is used for producing that particular gadget can be used for producing some other product, other items, and total contribution that can be produced is 25 lakhs. So 25 lakhs plus what is the variable cost that is going to be spent if suppose you are making it 15 lakhs. So total cost of 40 lakhs is the maximum price that can be given to the outside supplier for buying that gadget. That is, if you are making it, then you are going to spend this 15 lakhs and you are going to lose this 25 lakhs contribution. So 40 lakhs will be your total cost. Whereas when you are going for buy option, this 40 lakhs is the maximum price which you should pay. So the answer for this particular 75th question is option A, 40 lakhs. Simple. If suppose I'm going for buy option, then whatever the cost incurred if I am producing the product, or if I'm making the product in the making the gadget in the with using my own machinery, that cost should be the maximum price that should be paid to the outside supplier. So total cost I'm going to pay is 15 lakhs and the contribution which I'm going to lose is 25 lakhs. So 15 lakhs plus contribution loss is 25 lakhs. So total cost which is being incurred for making the product is 40 lakhs. So that 40 lakhs should be the maximum price which should be paid to the outside supplier. And this 40 lakhs fixed cost is going to be incurred irrespective of your decision, whether you make or buy. Your 40 lakhs is going to be incurred. So it is indifferential cost. So it should not be included in the decision making process. So under make or buy situation, the maximum price that should be paid to the outside supplier is 40 lakhs. 40 lakhs. So moving on to the next question. Question number 76. When a manager is concerned with monitoring total cost, total revenue, and net profit, conditioned upon the level of productivity. So level of productivity is very important thing. Conditioned upon a level of productivity, an accountant should normally recommend. See, there is a manager in a particular company. He is concerned with monitoring the business by total cost incurred, total revenue received, and total net profit. Comparing all these three upon the level of productivity. Level of productivity means, suppose at 60%, what is your total cost, total revenue, and total profit? At 70% capacity, what is your total cost and total profit? So comparing all this, if a manager wants to compare all this or monitor all these things, then accountant should normally recommend both flexible budgeting and standard budgeting. Flexible budgeting is used for level of productivity, and standard costing is used for comparing the total cost, total revenue. So both the options, that is option A is the right answer. That is flexible budgeting and standard costing should be recommended if manager is willing to monitor total cost, total revenue, and net profit. So for question number 76, right option is option A. That is flexible budgeting and standard costing should be recommended. So moving on to the next question. Question number 77. Simple. The difference between hours paid and hours worked is known as, see, suppose hours paid is, if suppose I am working as an employee in the particular company, then my total wages which has been paid for me, that is total hours for which I am being paid is 100 hours, but I actually worked only for 75 hours. Then for the remaining 25 hours, I am getting paid, but I am not working, which is nothing but idle time. For the company point of view, it is nothing but idle time, which a company is paying standard rate for that hour. That is, a company is paying the employee at some wage rate for that hour which has not been worked by the employee, which is nothing but idle time. So the difference between the hours paid and hours worked is known as idle time variance. If suppose I am not working at a particular hour and I am getting paid, it is nothing but idle time. So that variance is called idle time variance. So next, question number 78. The difference in total cost that results from two alternative course of action is called differential cost. So if I'm going for make or buy decision, you know what is make or buy decision? Suppose I'm producing mobile phones. So for that mobile phone SIM card slot, if I want to make it in my own production itself, then I can go for make option. Whereas if I only the SIM card slot, if I want to purchase it from another mobile production company, then it is called buy option, buying from the outside market. So this make or buy decision, when evaluating alternative course of action, the difference in total cost is nothing but differential cost. So you should not use the word opportunity cost here. Many will think that the difference in total cost that result in, wherever they say they see the alternative cost of action, they'll tell opportunity cost. No, the difference in total cost that results from two alternative cost of action is called differential cost. Best example is make or buy decision. So next is question number 79. A budget that gives a summary of all the functional budget and projected profit and loss account is known as, see, a particular budget which summarize all the functional budget is called master budget, and also a projected P&L is called master budget. So a particular budget that gives summary of all the functional budget. Or functional budget means production budget, purchase budget, sales budget, cost of goods sold budget, all the small head budget, that is called all the functions budget, that is called functional budget, put together is nothing but master budget. So question number 79, right answer is option A, that is master budget. Next, question number 80. When there are no opening or closing stocks, profit under marginal costing will be, see, only when there is, you know what is first marginal costing and absorption costing? Marginal costing is where entire fixed cost will be deducted from the contribution, even if there is some opening or closing stock. Whereas in the absorption costing, the opening stock and closing stock to which this fixed overhead is relatable. That is simple. Fixed overhead relatable to opening stock and closing stock will be added and subtracted from the cost of production, so that there will be some profit differentiation from the marginal costing and absorption costing. So when there is opening stock and closing stock, then the profit under marginal costing will be different from profit under absorption costing. Whereas when there is no opening or closing stock, the profit under marginal costing will be equal to profit under absorption costing. When there is opening stock or closing stock, profit under marginal costing will not be equal to profit under absorption costing. Whereas when there is no opening or closing stock, profit under marginal costing will be equal to absorption costing. So that is question number 80. Moving on to question number 81. Break-even point can be reduced by, see, what is break-even point? Break-even point is a sales where total profit from that sales, that is total contribution. Don't assume it as profit, you take it as contribution. That is total contribution from that particular BEP sales will be equal to your fixed cost. That is, there will be no profit, no loss on that break-even point sales. So how can you reduce the break-even point sales? That is, if suppose your break-even point sales is 2 lakhs. That is, your break-even point sales value is 2 lakhs. So if you want to reduce that break-even point values of sales to 1,50,000, what you should do? You can do any one of these following things. That is option A, increase the selling price per unit. So suppose you are producing 10,000 units. So your total break-even point sales is 2 lakhs. Then 10,000 into 20, you will get 2 lakhs. Whereas if you are increasing the selling price, then if you are increasing the selling price to 50 rupees, then 2 lakhs divided by 50 rupees, your break-even point in sales in units will fall to 4,000 units. So your BEP point is being reduced from 10,000 to 4,000. So when there is increase in selling price per unit, your BEP sales units will fall down. So option A is the right answer. You have to reduce your break-even point in sales, man. Suppose your break-even point in sales is 10,000 units, so that your total fixed cost will be recovered. So your total fixed cost is 2 lakhs. So 2 lakhs should be your contribution. So 2 lakhs divided by what is your fixed cost divided by what is the contribution per unit? 20. You are going to get 10,000 units as BEP in units. Whereas your selling price per unit has been increased from 20 to 50. So 2 lakhs divided by 50. What is the break-even point in sales? 4,000. So it has been fallen from 10,000 to 4,000. So when there is increase in selling price per unit, your BEP in sales is going to fall down. So it can be reduced. So that is the right answer. But just evaluate other options. Option B, reducing the variable cost. Even though if you reduce or increase the variable cost, there is not going to be any fall in break-even point. Suppose your sales is 2 lakhs and your variable cost is 1,50,000. So your contribution is 50,000. And your fixed cost is 10,000. So minus 10,000, your profit is 40,000. So by reducing the variable cost, your contribution is going to get increased. So when your contribution is increasing, your per unit cost, it is not going to affect the break-even point sales. So option B, that is reducing the variable cost, is not going to have any effect on break-even point in sales. It is only going to increase your PV ratio. Option C, reducing fixed cost. See, one second. Reducing fixed cost, by reducing fixed cost, your break-even point is going to get reduced. So when you are reducing your fixed cost divided by contribution, that is fixed cost divided by selling price per unit or contribution per unit, you are going to get number of BEP in units. So option C is also a right answer. Then we should check one more time what is option B. Option B is reducing the variable cost. See, by reducing your variable cost, your PV ratio or your contribution per unit is going to increase. So by increasing your contribution per unit, your break-even point is going to get reduced. See, suppose your selling price per unit is 50 rupees and your variable cost is per unit is 40 rupees. Then your contribution per unit is 10 rupees. If you are reducing the variable cost per unit from 40 rupees to 30 rupees, then your contribution per unit is going to increase to 20 rupees. So when you are increasing the contribution per unit, total contribution, that is total fixed cost, when at break-even point, your total contribution is equal to total fixed cost. So total contribution divided by contribution per unit, you are going to get break-even point. So when you are reducing the variable cost, you are increasing the contribution per unit. So at that point also, your break-even point can be reduced. So the answer is all the above. So the answer for this question number 81 is all the above. Right. Next, question number 82. One of the following is not within the scope of management accounting. So what is not within the scope of management accounting? Evaluate one by one. Option A, formulation of policies. That is the main objective of management accounting. That is decision making, formulating policies. All these are main options of main scope of management accounting. So option A is not the right answer. Option B, classification and collection of costs. See, classification and collection of costs is not the scope of management accounting. So classification of cost is nothing but cost accounting process. Collection of cost is nowhere related to management accounting. So option B is the right answer. So for question number 82, option B is the right answer. Just take option C, planning and coordinating the activities of the enterprise. So that is also a scope of management accounting. So decision making on alternative course of action, that is the main objective of management accounting. So option B is the right answer. Moving on to question number 83. That is last question of this choose in cost and management accounting. So AB company budget for fixed overhead. So budgeted fixed overhead is 24,000 and production of 4,800 units. So what is the standard price per unit? 24,000 divided by 4,800. So standard price per unit is 5 rupees. So budgeted fixed overhead is 24,000. Budgeted units is 4,800. If you divide both, you are going to get standard price, that is 5 rupees per unit. Then actual production is 4,200 units. So actually it has produced 4,200 units. If fixed overhead cost is increased to 22,000, that is, if suppose your actual fixed overhead is 22,000, they are asking us to calculate the fixed overhead volume variance. See, what is meant by fixed overhead volume variance? Because of change in volume, that is because of change in the production quantity, what is your fixed overhead variance they are asking. So here production budgeted is 4,800 units, whereas actual production is 4,200 units. So when you compare, there is fall in number of units that is being produced. So there is ultimately a volume variance. So what is the formula for volume variance? Simple. What is the standard quantity into standard price for actual output? So for actual output, what is the standard quantity into standard price you should take? For 4,200 units is the actual production. So for that actual production, what is your standard quantity into standard price? Standard quantity is 4,200 units into standard price is 5. You're going to get 21,000. So 21,000 is your standard quantity into standard price minus what is your budgeted fixed overhead, that is 24,000 minus 24,000. Then you will get your volume variance, that is 3,000 adverse. So option 3 is the right answer. So if you want that clarification, just take down this. Fixed overhead volume variance is equal to, within bracket, standard quantity into standard price minus budgeted fixed overhead. Below that is equal to, what is standard quantity? 4,200 units. Into what is standard price? 24,000 divided by 4,800, you are getting 5 into 5 minus what is your budgeted fixed overhead? 24,000. Budgeted fixed overhead is 24,000. So 21,000 minus 24,000, you are getting 3,000 adverse. So with that, we have completed question number 83. That is all the choices. Choose the best answer of cost and management accounting. So we have completed all the choose the best answer. Now next, moving on to match the following. So just check the match the following. So we'll just understand what they have asked question and we'll choose the right match which is given in the answer. So we just go through it a little bit faster. So we'll move on to first match the following. That is question number 1. Match the following, question number 1. See, what is the first question they have given? Learning curve. So what is learning curve? Learning curve is nothing but experience curve. So learning curve deals with the human behavior or human phenomenon. That is how fast a particular human, that is a particular labor or an employee can work when he keeps performing the same job again and again. That is when a particular person is repeating the same task, performing the same task again and again, then his experience, because of his experience, his learning curve is going to get effective. That is for question number 1. That is for point number 1, option is capital B. That is human phenomenon. Next, zero-based budgeting. Zero-based budgeting is nothing but total cost should be justified. That is total expenses of that particular budget should be justified. That is called zero-based budgeting. So discretionary cost is nothing but zero-based budgeting. Next, transfer price. Transfer price can be of any of the following types. That is marginal cost plus margin can be the transfer price. So what is transfer price? Transfer price is nothing but price for a particular raw material or particular goods which has been transferred to the internal department. That is called transfer price. Instead of selling it in the outside market, internal department itself, that is a particular department is selling the products which is produced by the department to, instead of outside market, but they are transferring to the other department, that is other department of the same company. That is called transfer price. The price of that particular transfer is called transfer price. And transfer price can be of following types. That is transfer price can be fixed based on the marginal cost, or transfer price can be fixed based on the market price, of that particular product which has been transferred internally, or also based on negotiated pricing. So transfer price can be based on negotiated pricing. So that is going to be answer for option question number 3. Then last, absorption costing. What is meant by absorption costing? Absorption costing is nothing but absorbing the total cost over the cost of goods which has been sold. So whatever is your total cost of production, so total cost of production, on that fixed cost will be charged, and total fixed cost will be charged to the cost of production, and from that opening stock will be deducted and closing stock will be added, so that your cost of sales will be analyzed. That is, to your cost of production, add your opening stock minus your closing stock. You will get what is your cost of sales. So with that cost of sales, if you add the profit margin, you will get what is your total sales. Simple. Absorption costing is nothing but fixed costs are charged to the cost of production. That is, your total cost will be charged to the cost of production. Either it is variable cost or fixed cost. It will be charged to the cost of production. That is called absorption costing. So with that, we have finished first match. That is, learning curve is human phenomenon. Zero-based budgeting is discretionary cost. Transfer price is negotiated pricing. And absorption costing is fixed costs are charged to cost of production. Not only fixed cost, total costs are charged to cost of production. That is called absorption costing. Next, question number 2. Check the first point. Interfirm comparison. See, when you are comparing when you are doing interfirm comparison is nothing but comparing the firms. So that is the technique for evaluating the performance of the particular firm. So interfirm comparison is nothing but technique which is used to evaluate the performance of the firm. So for option number 1, that is question number 1, option is option D, technique for evaluating performance. Next, margin of safety. What is the formula for margin of safety? Profit divided by PV ratio. Or else you can see it as like this. Whatever the sales which is being achieved from margin of safety, that is, sales is a part of margin of safety is the part of sales. So sales consists of 2 elements, that is BEP sales and margin of safety sales. And BEP sales is nothing but sales which has been made in order to recover the fixed cost. And margin of safety is nothing but sales which has been made from which you are getting your profit. So margin of safety is nothing but profit divided by PV ratio. So for question number 2, option is option C, profit divided by PV ratio. Next, variance analysis. What is meant by variance analysis? Standard costing. Standard costing is nothing but variance analysis. How do you analyze variance? By comparing the standard cost and actual cost. So variance analysis is nothing but difference between standard cost and actual cost. Difference between standard cost and actual cost. And last one is differential costing. So the exact meaning for differential costing is the cost, that is difference in cost, by evaluating 2 alternative course of action. That is called differential costing. If you have some notes or if you are having this printed copy, just take it down nearby. Differential costing, very important terminology. Differential costing is nothing but difference in cost for evaluating 2 alternative course of action. Difference in cost from evaluating 2 alternative course of action. So by evaluating 2 alternative course of action, what you are doing, you are taking a decision. For best example for differential costing is make or buy decision, whether to make the product or buy the product from the outside market. That is, make or buy decision is differential costing. So decision making is the differential cost. Interfirm comparison is technique for evaluating the performance. Margin of safety is profit divided by PV ratio. And variance analysis is nothing but difference between standard cost and actual cost. And differential costing is nothing but decision making. So that is second one. Then moving on to the third one. First point, transfer pricing. So a transfer pricing is nothing but price to be fixed for a product or for any other services or product which has been transferred internally to other departments, and price to be fixed for that is called transfer price, and method of fixing that price is called transfer pricing. So using transfer pricing methodology, you will fix the particular price for the goods which has been transferred internally. So transfer pricing, basically transfer pricing is being calculated for divisional profits. That is, if suppose division A is producing product A and division A is transferring product A to the division B, so that division B can produce product B and sell it in the outside market. So division A is transferring internally to division B product A. Product A is being transferred by division A to division B. So for transferring product A, for producing and transferring product A, division A should have some profit because it is producing product A and selling it to the internal department itself, to the department B, that is division B. So for that particular production and transfer internally, that is particular production and transfer of product A internally, division A is going to have some profit, that is called divisional profit. How their profits will be calculated? Using transfer pricing. Simple. Next, point number 2, budgetary control. Budgetary control is nothing but a functional part of budget. That is, a budgetary control is being evaluated. That is, excuse me, sorry, budgetary control. See, what is budgetary control? Preparing the budget for the future year and controlling it. That is called budgetary control. Budgetary control is nothing but predetermining the future expenses and profits. That is, budgeting the future period. That is called budgetary control. And budgetary control is nothing but executive function. That is a function which is going to be executed in the near future. When preparing, predetermining it is called executing function. So budgetary control is an executive function. Next, learning curve. A learning curve is nothing but a mathematical or statistical technique. So you know that learning curve is an experience curve. So it is a mathematical or statistical technique. So all these different terms which they are using for learning curve, just note it down and just write it as a definition for learning curve itself. If they are asking what is learning curve in 2 marks or 3 marks, just note down the points which they are giving in the match the following choices, all those things. What is learning curve? A learning curve is an experience curve. It is a mathematical or statistical technique. So all these points you can write it as definition. So learning curve is a mathematical or statistical technique. Last point is relevant cost. Question number 4 is relevant cost. Relevant cost is nothing but an opportunity cost. So what is opportunity cost? Opportunity cost is a business loss. That is called opportunity cost. Instead of using that particular resource for particular option, if you have alternatively used for any other business, the profit that could have been received, that is called opportunity cost. So relevant cost is nothing but opportunity cost. Next, question number 4. May I have following question number 4? First, take the point number 1. The method which is followed for evaluation of equivalent production when prices are fluctuating. So when prices are fluctuating, the method to be followed for equivalent production, evaluating the equivalent production, that is called average price method. Simple. See, where you will find this equivalent production, like equivalent production when prices are fluctuating, you will always use this in process costing. So when you are producing some amount of products, that is, see, in your process costing, what you will do, you will find the equivalent production. How will you find the equivalent production? That is, how much is the material that is being used? If 100% of the material is used, then whatever the total material cost for that particular goods, work in progress goods, into 100% of material. Then if labor and variable overhead is 50%, you will multiply with 50%. Then summation of it is the total equivalent cost of production. So this equivalent cost of production is nothing but average price method. Then question number 2. Point number 2 is, in hospital, cost unit is per bed. So simple. Whatever is what is the cost unit in your hospital per bed? That is per bed per day or per bed per hour. All these are cost unit of hospital. So in hospital, cost unit is per bed. Then point number 3. Break-even point in value is equal to fixed cost divided by PV ratio. So whatever is your total fixed cost divided by PV ratio is your break-even point in value. And for margin of safety, profit divided by PV ratio. If suppose they are asking break-even point in units, then fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. So if you want in units, then fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. If you want in value, fixed cost divided by PV ratio. Next, direct material yield variance. So material yield variance is nothing but because of mixture of two variances, that is two products. Because of for producing one product and mixture of for producing that one product, there is two raw materials involved. Then material yield variance is applicable. So what is the formula for material yield variance? Standard yield variance for actual mix minus actual yield into standard yield price. So option B is the right answer. So direct material yield variance is applicable only when there is two raw material used to produce one product. That is point number one. And what is the formula for material yield variance? Standard quantity into standard price. Or you can also assume it as standard quantity for actual mix minus actual yield into standard yield price. So that is the direct material yield variance. Next, question number 5. A flexible budget takes into account fixed variable and semi-variable. Simple. For a flexible budget, what is meant by flexible budget? Flexible budget is nothing but what is the different profits at 60% capacity, 70% capacity, 80%. You will compare the budget for different capacity of production. That is called flexible budget. And flexible budget usually takes into account all the fixed costs, variable costs, and also semi-variable costs. So a flexible budget takes into account fixed, variable, and semi-variable costs. So that is the answer for point number 5. Then moving on to question number 5. Just check. Point number 1, PV ratio. PV ratio is nothing but total contribution divided by total sales into 100. So point number C is the right answer. That is common formula. What is the total contribution divided by total sales into 100? That is the formula for PV ratio. Then point number 2, direct labor efficiency. So direct labor efficiency is nothing but labor efficiency variance. So labor efficiency variance formula is standard quantity into standard price for actual output minus standard quantity into actual quantity into standard price. You can take it as like this. The formula for direct labor efficiency variance is standard hours for actual output minus actual hours multiply with standard rate per hour. You will get what is your direct labor efficiency variance. Okay, standard hours minus actual hours. You will get your excess hours or minimum hours which has been saved. So if you multiply that with standard rate, you will get your direct labor efficiency. So for point number 2, answer is standard hours minus standard hours for actual production minus actual hours into standard rate. Then zero-based budgeting. So zero-based budgeting, that is point number 3. For point number 3, zero-based budgeting, right option is decision package. That is decision package is nothing but what is zero-based budgeting? Basically, zero-based budgeting is nothing but where all the expenses will be justified. So decision package, when you're making a particular expenses for packaging, that decision package is the right option for zero-based budgeting. Next, contract costing. See, we have already studied that contract costing under this particular paper number 10. In contract costing is applicable in paper number 10 or paper number 4? I think so. In paper number 4, we studied contract costing. So contract costing. What are the different items used in contract costing? What is work certified? What is work uncertified? What is your total cost of contract? All these are different terms in the contract costing. So for contract costing, right option is work certified. So actually, this is in the paper number 4. This particular match the following. So work certified is contract costing. Then process costing. So process costing is also we studied in paper number 4. That is, what is your equivalent production for the work in progress, which will be calculated under process costing. So for PV ratio, answer is total contribution divided by sales into 100. Direct labor efficiency. Standard hours for actual output minus actual hours into standard rate per hour. You will get your direct labor efficiency. Then zero-based budgeting. That is decision package. Then contract costing, work certified. For process costing is equivalent production. So whichever terms which are using in the, you just have to compare your answers with the questions in the match the following and just match it. Like whatever the terminology which is used in the different cost. Suppose it is contract costing. You just take it. Work certified is used in contract costing. Then you for contract costing answer is work certified. In process costing, we are using the term equivalent production. So process costing answer is equivalent production. Like that, you should work it out. Then question number 6. Point number 1 is transfer price. So what is this transfer price? Transfer price is nothing but goal concurrence. That is, for each division, there may be different goals. And divisional profit should be given to each division. And only way to give division profit is using transfer price. So for transfer price, goal congruence. Then zero-based budgeting. Zero-based budgeting, see, zero-based budgeting are basically for this government department activities. So it is not on the basis of trends. Whatever is the present tense, that is not going to be adopted by zero-based budgeting. Then performance budgeting. Performance budgeting is used to measure the performance. No, performance budgeting. See, profit earned on contract account is notional profit. So for point number 5, answer is notional profit. So profit earned on contract account. So if you have studied contract costing in the paper number 4, contract costing, there you would have dealt with this notional profit. That is for 25% to 50% of completion of work. The formula is, I think so, 1/3 into notional profit into work certified, cash received by work certified. And if it is 50% to 90%, then 2/3 into notional profit into cash received by work certified. So that is the formula. There in the contract costing only you are getting this particular terminology, that is notional profit. So profit earned on contract account is nothing but notional profit. So for point number 5, answer is D. And point number 4, throughput accounting. That is for throughput accounting. Why is this throughput accounting being utilized? What is meant by throughput accounting? Throughput accounting is nothing but pure variable cost accounting. That is, throughput cost is nothing but pure variable cost. Which is the pure variable cost in a particular production? Like if suppose I'm involved in production of particular goods, my pure variable cost is only material. So material should be my throughput cost. Whatever is my material cost, that is throughput cost, and any other cost should be assumed as fixed cost. So total sales minus, total cost minus throughput cost, you will get the fixed cost. So throughput accounting is used to perform the measurement, that is performance measurement. Then performance budgeting, that is point number 3. Performance budgeting is a responsibility accounting. Done. With that, we have completed point number 6. Okay. With that, we have completed 6th master point. Next, moving on to 7th question. Work certified. Again, it is contract costing. Work certified is used in the contract costing. Only when you complete your particular contract, that is contract costing is basically for the construction based companies. So when they are completing a particular work, and if it is certified, then it is called work certified. So in the contract costing, we deal with the work certified. So for point number 1, option C is the right answer. Then margin of safety. Margin of safety, where it is dealt with, margin of safety is dealt with CVP analysis. That's cost versus profit analysis. So next, efficiency variance. So efficiency variance is nothing but labor cost variance. So where we are using those terms, that is in which chapter we are using the terms that they have given us as the following. Then equivalent production, we are using it in process costing. Then zero-based budgeting, we are using it in budgetary control. So they are just asking the chapter name. Work certified contract costing. Margin of safety is CVP analysis. Efficiency variance is labor cost variance. Equivalent production is process costing. Zero-based budgeting is budgetary control. Then moving on to 8th question. Match the following 8th question. Then for that first point is cost driver. So cost driver is nothing but a particular cost for which a cost driver will be there. So using that cost driver, you will distribute the cost to the production. Simple. When you are preparing costing, if you are using ABC costing, then each cost, suppose there is a direct each overhead cost, we'll assume it as like this. There is a depreciation cost, there is a telephone cost, there is a different cost. Suppose assume it as telephone cost. The telephone cost will be appropriated and segregated to each division based on the number of hours each department has used the telephone. So there will be a cost driver for each cost. So that is called ABC costing. So cost driver will fall under ABC costing. Next, bottleneck hours. Bottleneck hours is nothing but a particular capacity is limited. That is called bottleneck factor. First, understand what is bottleneck. Bottleneck factor is nothing but a particular factor is in scarce resources. That is called bottleneck hours. So if suppose labor hours are bottleneck, then bottleneck hours is nothing but labor hours. So the right option for this bottleneck hours is throughput accounting. So throughput accounting, what you will do from the total cost, you will take off what is your variable, that is pure variable cost, that is direct material cost, and remaining all the cost is this fixed cost. So bottleneck cost is nothing but throughput accounting. Next, budgetary control. Budgetary control, the right option is management by exception. So we have already seen this management by exception in choose. So what is this management by exception? They will only report on the variations, that is deviations from the standards that has been already set. That is at the beginning of year, a particular firm will set the standard. That is, a management will set the standard. At the end of the year, there will be actuals. By comparing the standards and actuals, only on the deviation, this management by exceptions will report. That is called management by exception. So budgetary control is management by exception. Then retention money. Retention money, that particular term is used in the contract costing. So based on your completion of work, your profit will be distributed and transferred to P&L account. And the remaining excess amount that is being received as a profit will be kept in return money, that is retention money. Next, margin of safety. Margin of safety determines the financial soundness of business. So on the margin of safety only, you are going to receive your profit. So whatever is your contribution on margin of safety is your profit. So margin of safety determines the financial soundness of business. If your margin of safety is more, then there is financial soundness in the business. Next, match the following, question number 9. Point number 1 is relevant cost. See, relevant cost, which is nothing but future cost affected by decision taken. So relevant cost is nothing but differential cost, or you can also call it as opportunity cost. Relevant cost is cost which is being incurred in the future for choosing a particular option. So future cost affected by decision taken, that is the relevant cost. Next, point number 2, standard costing. So standard costing is basically a cost control technique. So you will compare your standards with your actual, your standards which has been set in the beginning. You will compare that standards with your actual, and you will find the variances. By using that variances, you will create a control over the cost. So that is called cost control. So standard costing is the option A, cost control. Then flexible budget. Flexible budget falls under budgetary control. Then difference cost analysis. Differential cost analysis is used to decision making. So differential cost analysis, question number 4, option is option B, decision taking. Then option 5, angle of incidence. This angle of incidence is nothing but profitability rate. So option D is the right answer for this angle of incidence. So moving on to the match the following 10th question. Uniform costing. What is my uniform costing? You will, in a particular industry, so you would have already studied this uniform costing, but I'll give you a small note on uniform costing. What is this uniform costing? Is you will calculate what is the uniform selling price and uniform cost price. The uniform selling price and the uniform cost for a particular product in an industry, that is based on the different players in the industry. Suppose there are 5 players in the industry, A, B, C, D, E. Then what is the different prices, sales prices they have set, and comparing that sales prices, multiplying the sales prices with their market portion. That is, if suppose division A, that is firm A is having large portion of the market, that is 70% of the market is held by division A, then each other 5 firms are having 5% margin. Then multiply their selling price with that market portion, you will get your uniform cost, uniform selling price by summarizing all the values. That is, multiplying the selling price with the market share, you will get your uniform selling price. And by comparing the total cost with your market share, you will get your uniform cost. So uniform selling price minus uniform cost, you will get your uniform profit. So uniform costing. The right option is technique to assist inter-firm comparison. What do you mean by inter-firm comparison? Inter-firm comparison is nothing but 2 firms, comparing the 2 firms. How will you compare 2 firms? By comparing the uniform costing method. Using the uniform costing method, you will take, it is a technique to assist the inter-firm comparison. Then value engineering. Value engineering is nothing but design of the product. Option A is the right answer. And variance analysis. Variance analysis, measures of divisional performance. Sorry, variance analysis. What is the answer for variance analysis? Is management by exception. So whatever is your, see what is management by exception? Only on the deviation it will report. So management by exception is nothing but comparing your standards with your actuals on the deviations, only on the deviations, why such deviations has occurred. It will report on that particular point. So it is nothing but variance analysis. So variance analysis is nothing but comparing standards to actuals. And management by exception is also comparing the standards and actuals and reporting only on variances. So that is management by exception. Then point number 4 is escalation class, which is nothing but contract costing. So you will use this particular term escalation class in the contract costing. So then residual income. Residual income is nothing but measures of divisional performance. So that is point for point number 5. Answer is option B. Measures the divisional performance. Then moving on to 11th, match the following. That is question number 11. Point number 1, research and development cost. See, research and development cost. If you have gone through the costing of cost accounting standards, cost accounting standard 8 is the 18 is the research and development cost. So you can't expect this numbers cost accounting standard mostly they won't throw these kinds of questions, but it's just go through this cost accounting standards at least once. So cost accounting standard 18 is research and development cost. Then depreciation on computer purchase for office. See, office is used for the administrative purposes. Okay. So whatever is your depreciation on the computer purchase for office will fall under office administrative and expenses. So option number F, that is the depreciation on computer purchase for office form part of office and administrative expenses. So for point number 2, answer is option F. Then point number 3, abnormal cost is transferred to whatever is your abnormal loss, that is transferred to costing and P&L account. Costing and P&L account. Like if you have dealt with this contract costing, if any material has been lost in the site, then it will be transferred to costing and P&L in the credit side of the contract account. So that is the costing and P&L account. Abnormal loss will be transferred to costing and P&L account. Then point number 4. In electricity companies, the cost unit is kilowatt. See, the electricity company basically measures its performance. That is, the cost unit of electricity company is kilowatt. So that is point number 4. Then point number 5. That is, the summary of all functional budget is nothing but master budget. So option J is the right answer. So summary of all the functional budget is nothing but master budget. Then answer for point number 6. Answer for point number 6. One second. Cost of free sample of products distributed. So if suppose free sample of product is distributed, it form part of selling expenses, because for selling the product to a particular person, you are giving a sample. So it form part of selling expenses. So next, in contract costing, cost unit is per contract. So each contract is taken as a separate cost unit. So in contract costing, cost unit is per contract. Then capacity determination. The cost accounting standard for this capacity determination is cost accounting standards 2. So the answer for point number 8, capacity determination is cost accounting standards 2. Then point number 9, scrap value of abnormal loss of finished output. So scrap value of abnormal loss of finished output not shown in the cost sheet but credited to profit and loss account. So option I is the right answer. Then cash discount allowed, not shown in the cost sheet and credited but debited to profit and loss account. See, simple man, this point number 9 and point number 10 I'll explain you. Scrap value is nothing but the amount which has been received from the abnormal loss. Suppose you purchased a material and you left it in the rain itself. So because of that rain, it has got spoiled. It become abnormal loss. So when you sell that, you dispose of that particular product which has been lost due to the rain, that abnormal loss, when you are selling it, when you are disposing it off, you will get a scrap value for giving it. So that scrap value is nothing but an income. So it will not be shown in the cost sheet, but that income will be shown in the credit to the profit and loss account. only the profits will be credited to profit and loss account. So scrap value is a profit which will not be taken in the cost sheet, but it will be credited to profit and loss account. Then cash discount allowed. Cash discount allowed is an expense, but this cash discount allowed won't be taken into consideration in the cost accounting, that is cost sheet, but it will be debited to P&L account. So your P&L account will be debited with this cash discount. So moving on to the next match the following, that is question number 12. Point number 1, market-based price. Market-based price. So market-based price is the term used in the transfer pricing. So option C is the right answer. So for market-based, question number 1, option C is the right answer. Market-based prices, it is a method of transfer pricing. Then decision unit. Decision unit is a zero-based budgeting. Margin of safety, it is break-even analysis. Break-even analysis is nothing but decision-making analysis, or you can also assume it as marginal costing. So margin of safety form part of break-even analysis. Then difference between cost of two alternatives is differential cost. So repeating, all are repeating now. Match the following, we'll just move it on. Then point number 13, that is question number 13, management accounting. Management accounting is suitable for internal users. That is, you cannot publish your management accounting, or the management accounting is not used by the external users. The management accounting is useful for only internal users. Then fiduciary accounting. Fiduciary accounting is suitable for third parties. So fiduciary accounting, before signing a particular agreement with the company, the third parties should go through the fiduciary accounting. Then point number 3 is financial accounting. Financial accounting is suitable for both internal and external users, because external users, they will look at it as an they look at balance sheet and financial, that is financial position, as a criteria for before investing in that particular company or before having a business with that particular company. So internal and external users both will use the financial accounting, and cost accounting is suitable for operational management. This is very important. Match the following actually. Point number 13. Question number 13 is very important. Match the following. Management accounting is useful for internal users. Fiduciary accounting is useful for third parties. Financial accounting is useful for both internal and external users, and cost accounting is useful for operation management. Then match the following. Number 14. General administrative overhead. Point number 1 is general administrative overhead. This general administrative overhead is nothing but unavoidable fixed cost. So what is your administrative overhead? Administrative overhead is nothing but your office expenses. So by running administration, whatever the overhead incurred, that is called office expenses. So general administrative overhead is nothing but unavoidable fixed cost. Fixed cost which cannot be avoided even if you shut down your business. That is called unavoidable fixed cost. Example, rental building which has been taken. So if you shut down your business for temporarily for a month, then you have to pay your rent. That is called general administrative overhead. Next, point number 2, marginal costing. So marginal costing, the technique used is contribution. The word term used in marginal costing is contribution. Make or buy decision. Make or buy decision is nothing but relevant cost. Relevant cost is the opportunity cost, which is used for make or buy decision. Next, margin of safety, excess of over break-even sales. That is, your total sales which is more than break-even sales is nothing but margin of safety sales. That is point number 4. So 14th match is over. Then question number 15. Question number 15, principal-based budget factor. That is, principal budget factor is major determinant. That is, what they are asking is, which is the major concept of budget? Is the sales demand. Whatever is your sales, predetermining it is the principal budget factor. Based on that only your entire budget is going to be followed. Then incremental budgeting. What is this incremental budgeting? Incremental budgeting encourages the stack, like it encourages the slack. Then zero-based budgeting. Zero-based budgeting is the rationalization. Rationalization means government which rationalize its budget. It's called zero-based budgeting. Then the master budget is the summary of all the budgets. That is option B. Then 16th question. That is, match the following. Question number 16. First, point number 1, distinctive feature of learning curve. What is the distinctive feature of learning curve? Person engaged in the repetitive task will improve his performance over a time. That is called learning curve. So as I explained in the previous questions itself, learning curve is nothing but a person who is performing the same task again and again will perform it better way when he is repeating the same task. So distinctive feature of learning curve is person engaged in repetitive tasks will improve his performance over time. Then point number 2, standard costing works on the principle of exception. Then budgetary control system is designed to fix responsibilities on executives through preparation of budget. So option B is the right answer. Then transfer price is the notional value of which goods and services are transferred between the divisions in the decentralized organization. Decentralized organization. Just understand the difference between centralized organization and decentralized organization. Centralized organization means where the entire company's profit is centralized, whereas decentralized organization is each division will have its own profits. So transfer price is used only when is the notional value at which goods and services are transferred between the divisions in the decentralized organization. If it is centralized organization, goods can be transferred without transfer price also between the divisions, because the profit is going to be ultimately set by the centralized organization. Whereas decentralized organization, each division will have different profits. So transfer price should be assigned. So for our point number 4, option C is the right answer. Then 17th question. Question number 17 matches the following. Point number 1, learning curve. Learning curve is nothing but cumulative average time. So what is the average time which has been spent on a producing a particular product for 1 unit? That is called learning curve. Then transfer price. Transfer price is nothing but notional value. Actually, the notional, see, excuse me, a notional value for transferring the goods from the internal department by division A to division B or between the divisions for transferring the goods or services, it is called transfer price, and notional value is set. That is, so the option number C is the right answer for point number 2. And point number 3, experience curve. Experience curve is nothing but cumulative. Again, it is coming to cumulative average time. No, see, experience curve is nothing but learning curve, whereas here you can go for both the options, where learning curve you can put cumulative average time, and also experience curve also you can put cumulative average time. But this experience curve is the term which has been designed by Boston Consulting Group. So BCG has termed this experience curve. So for experience curve, only this Boston Consultancy Group will be answered. But whereas for this cumulative average time, you can take learning curve or experience curve as answer. So next, factors affecting the cost of airlines. It has been stated by Sir P. Wright. P. Wright has stated this factors affecting the cost of airlines. So with that, we have completed 16th question. Next, moving on to 17th match the following. So we have completed 17 match the following. Moving on to the 18th match the following. Budgetary control system. So, but what is this budgetary control system? Introduction and implementation of system may be expensive. So if suppose you are planning to introduce budgetary control system, then introduction and implementation of the system will be bit expensive. So point number 1 answer is option B. Next, point number 2, standard cost. Standard cost helps in planning and see, normally the standard cost, it is helping in useful for budget and performance evaluation. So for point number 2 answer is option A, that is standard cost helps in useful to budget and performance evaluation. Then marginal costing. Marginal costing helps in profit planning and analysis. So marginal costing answer is option B. Then point number 4, cost control. Aims at adherence to planning cost. So cost control is nothing but controlling the cost, and it aims at the adherence to planning cost. So that is the for point number 4, option C is the right answer. Then the last match the following. Absorption costing. So what is absorption costing? Absorption costing is nothing but total cost will be absorbed over the total inventory system. So option D is the right answer. That is both fixed and variable cost put together is the total cost. So both fixed cost and the variable cost are considered for inventory valuation. That is when you are calculating opening stock or closing stock under absorption costing. You are both fixed cost and the variable cost will be taken into account. Then management accounting. What is this management accounting? Is concerned with the accounting information which is useful to the management. That is called management accounting. This is the one more term. So management accounting is basically concerned with accounting information which is useful to the management. Then break-even point. Break-even point is nothing but at which total revenue will be equal to total cost. So both your variable cost and fixed cost will be recovered at break-even point. So there will be no profit, no loss. So at which break-even point is at which total revenue will be equal to total cost. Then learning curve. Learning curve is option C. That is frequently used in conjunction with establishment of bid price for contract. So option C is the right answer for point number 4. That is learning curve. So with that, we have completed match the following. So by doing this match the following or watching this match the following videos or this choose the best answer, whatever the MCQ may be, by watching this, you are just revising the concept. Now, you are not only studying this MCQ. So when I am telling what is marginal costing, I am explaining you the marginal costing statement. So marginal income statement basically consists of 5 items. Sales minus variable cost, you will get contribution. From that, if you take off fixed cost, you will get profit. All these different concepts will be revised when you are going through this MCQ. So that is why we are particularly making this MCQ video. So it is helpful because you can answer your MCQs. And also, if suppose you have been asked with a particular concept of some, that is marginal costing or variable costing, by solving it like MCQs, you are going to increase your time. That is, you are going to decrease your time, increase your efficiency. That is why we are solving this MCQ separately. So with that, we have completed match the following. So this true or false, we'll just start off this true or false in the next video. Thank you.